Hi, my name is Rowan, and this is my story. So I was about 2 years into my gap year, and I had been in a relationship with my boyfriend at the time for about a year and a half, and that was around the time I got pregnant. When I found out, I was one day late for my period, and I was like, I just had a feeling, and it was right before work. I had like 30 minutes. I took a test, and I thought I was in the clear, and then this tiny little line showed up, the second line, and I was like, oh man. I quickly ran to Walmart and I got another test, and I took that right before, and that one, it was positive as well. But I had to go to work, which was probably good for me because I would have been reeling the whole time at home if I had to stay home. The girl that I nanny, she's like the brightest light, and so she really helped me through that whole time. But I got there, and I knew that I had to tell my boyfriend at the time that I was pregnant at some point. I was terrified because I didn't know what his response would be. I thought things would be okay, but I was wrong. I was wrong. When I told him I was pregnant, he said that I needed to get that taken care of. And I don't remember exactly what he said after that, but I know that I made an appointment for an abortion about a month out. That was all I could find. And I told him, and he said that I needed to find something sooner. So I found a place in Petoskey that would do it 2 weeks out. I knew in my heart that I didn't want an abortion at all, but I didn't quite have the courage at the time to stand up to him. I didn't realize how much control he had over me until that moment, when I was really afraid to tell him what I truly wanted. And I know over the course of the 2 weeks before my scheduled abortion, there was a lot of yelling, and he was drinking. And every time I tried to say something about how I already felt feelings for the baby, he told me, what did he say? I told him I already loved the baby, and he was like, no, you don't. He said it like that. No, you don't. I just remember feeling like there was no way that this was the person that I had been with for a year and a half. He turned into a monster. It was terrifying. I remember crying in my bed when he was yelling at me for like 2 hours, just about how I can't do this. I'm gonna be a terrible mother. He doesn't want the baby around my family if I have it. It was so awful. I thought I was gonna die. I literally thought I was gonna die. It was the worst 2 weeks of my entire life. And I was living with him too. One of the days that I was at work, I told I call her my nanny mom. I told her that I was pregnant, and that that my boyfriend at the time was trying to force me to abort my baby. She mentioned that she knew of a place called Thrive that a couple of her friends had worked at. And she said that I know that they can confirm the pregnancy, and I know they have other resources. And I called and I made an appointment just to confirm the pregnancy. And when I walked in, I just felt so welcomed. And it was just a stark contrast to what I was experiencing at home. It was so dark. That time was so dark. And then I came here and I was just so happy. And after hearing all of the reasons why I couldn't do this, coming here gave me the feeling that I could do this, and I'd be okay. And I could do it without him. Now I want to cry. Thrive really gave me hope. I think my experience would have been totally different if I wouldn't have been led to Thrive. Just coming here was like a warm embrace. It was so different than what I had been experiencing at home, and I really felt like I could do it. I could have this baby and everything would be okay. I remember talking to Jasmine, and she just listened and was really sweet. And just having a listening ear is so important. A non-judgmental listening ear. And she told me that there were a lot of resources out there, and that a lot of people support people like me, which was really comforting. They told me that there was a chance that I wasn't going to be able to see anything because it was so early. But we were able to see the tiny little gestational sac. And that did it for me. I was like, okay, I have to figure out how to either get my boyfriend at the time on board, or I have to leave him. I think at my appointment we had spoken about trying to get him in to hear the heartbeat, because I thought that maybe that would spark something in him. So we made that appointment, and I told him that he had to come to that appointment, and he did, but not without putting up a fight. And I remember he was just like, he was so angry. I could just feel it radiating off of him. He was so mad that we were even there. I remember when I was looking at the ultrasound and we weren't able to hear the heartbeat, but we were able to see it. I remember I just felt so much love for that baby. I'm gonna cry. And I could just feel my ex-boyfriend behind me, and he was like in the back corner, and I could just tell that he wasn't feeling that. Okay, I can do this. And the next day I had to go to work again, and I said that was the day before my scheduled abortion, and I was like, okay, if I am meant to have this baby and tell him that I'm gonna have this baby, please give me a sign. I want to see a bald eagle, okay, like a real bald eagle, not just like one on a truck or something or a picture of one. I want to see a bald eagle. So I went to work, and all day I just had so much fun with my little nanny baby. I love her so much. She really just made everything okay. And then it was like 10 minutes before I was supposed to leave, and I looked outside, and they were right on the water at the time, and I saw this big bird swooping down. I grabbed the little girl, and we ran outside. We went to the beach, and I was like, that is a bald eagle. And then all of a sudden this other big bird comes in, and there were two bald eagles just swooping and fishing. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I know what I have to do tonight. So I came inside, and I told my nanny mom, and I think she teared up, and I teared up too. And I went home, and I waited for him to get home, and I said, I'm not getting an abortion. And he told me to get out and to leave my key. And so I packed everything up in 15 minutes, everything I owned. And as he just like watched me pack up, and he told me, if you don't get out in 5 minutes, I'm gonna call the police. And I remember as I was leaving, he said, I hope you either get a miscarriage or you have an abortion. And I was done. At that point, I was done. So I went back home to my mom's, and my mom's house is just such a warm place, and I love being there. And that was kind of the beginning of figuring it out. I've had a lot of support, and so many people have come forward, and I was nannying for one family and then babysitting for a couple of other families, and they all came together and threw me a baby shower, which was amazing. And so many people just came together and just to support me. I remember back when I was meeting with Jasmine, she told me that they have dressers come in every once in a while, and she was like, actually, we have one right now that we could put your name on. And she was like, when you find out the gender, just let us know and we'll fill it with things. I thought it was gonna be like, a really small dresser that was like used, and I would have been happy with anything. But I remember Jasmine was the one who dropped it off, and they brought this like massive white dresser, absolutely filled with baby stuff. And my mom was crying. I didn't cry, but I cried after. I didn't cry right then, but I cried after. It was just absolutely packed with things for my baby. I couldn't believe that people that I didn't even know wanted to help me like that, and like just gave these things to some random person. They didn't know where it was gonna go, and it came to us, and Wilbur gets to use all of those things. and it was really, really helpful. And I still, like, the dresser is his dresser. So, and makes a perfect changing station too. It's a really nice dresser. It's like tall too.
Oh.
I love it. And on the back of it, it was signed by everybody from the church that it came from. And I thought that was so sweet. I read every single one and I just cried because I just couldn't believe it. And I was also part of the group Embrace Grace, which was a really cool experience. I think it helped me to be able to relate to people differently who believe different things, which was, I think, a really good experience for me. I think it was like 11 weeks or something, somewhere around there. And after those 11 weeks, they threw us a baby shower, which was really sweet. And we received a lot of gifts, which was amazing. And there were just people from the church who didn't even know us. And they just came to this baby shower and they gave us gifts and showered us with love. And it just amazes me to see people do that for somebody they don't even know. I'm just so incredibly grateful. Like, I don't even have words for it. I think it would have taken me a lot longer to get to this point if I didn't come here. Thrive really gave me freedom, which was really beautiful. Okay, talking about the moment I met him is gonna make me cry.
Okay.
I remember it was, I had 3 midwives in the room, which was really awesome. The atmosphere was it was just amazing to have. It was just a room full of women, which was something I was nervous about. I didn't know if I was gonna have to have a male doctor, but I got what I wanted. I had everybody there that I cared about, and who cared about me. And I wanted to be the one to bring him up. And when he was out, she like brought my hand down. My midwife brought my hand down and helped me pull him up onto my chest. He was just looking around and just like blinking and looking at everything and everyone and me. And it was so amazing. Yeah, it was like the greatest moment of my life, I think. And I remember like the song that was playing, it was just like an instrumental piece, and it just it was so surreal. And I knew that it was all worth it. Yeah. This is Wilbur, the best thing that ever happened to me. I love his personality. He's very serious. He's very strong-willed. I think he's gonna do some pretty great things. He'll smile and then get really serious if you smile back. He really likes to stand. He's like totally ready to walk. He's been ready. He was born ready to walk. But he like stands up and puts his arms out and he shakes like he's trying really hard to stand up straight. And he's just really proud of himself, which is adorable. I've become so much stronger, and I feel like I'm much lighter than I was. I was carrying like this massive weight on my shoulders, and it just was lifted the moment he was born. I feel like I transformed into like the truest and most authentic version of myself the moment he was born. And I realized that none of the material things matter in this world at all. It's the people. And being a mother. That's gonna make me tear up too. Yeah. He really showed me my inner strength. I remember I wasn't gonna add this in because I knew I was gonna just like break down if I said this. I might be able to get through it. But I remember after that ultrasound, I think it was one of those nights, I'd been like yelling at me or something, or giving me silent treatment. And I remember rolling over and I just like curled around my belly. And just like, he was so tiny, like barely even the size of a seed. But I still loved him so much, and I felt like I had to protect him. Yeah, like it was my duty to protect him. And I still feel that. We're still going through it.
You can go back and say anything to yourself during that 2-week period. What did you say to him?
You can leave. And it'll be even better than he could have imagined. In those moments where I was just completely broken, I could feel this little... I just felt like everything was maybe gonna be okay. It's so much better than okay. I'm excited. I'm actually excited about my life.